Thank you, Chair. Thank you for appearing tonight. My questions are fairly short. At the Senate inquiry into regional bank branch closures, I asked Westpac CEO King, quote, "How much do you pay Australia Post for a community representation fee?" End of quote. The response on notice was, quote, "Westpac is happy to provide a specific figure, including the community representation fee. However, our contract with Australia Post requires both parties to agree to the release of any commercial details within the contract. Westpac would agree to Australia Post providing these details to the committee." End of quote. Are you happy to share those details today or on notice?
Senator, no, we are not. Those are commercially confidential. We have a number of agreements with many banks and institutions. They differ from bank to bank, and that would disclose what we believe is commercially sensitive information.
So Westpac's happy for you to disclose their contract?
Well, again, they may be happy, but that's one side of the contract. We have contracts with over 81 financial institutions and would not be comfortable sharing that sensitive information.
I asked the Commonwealth Bank the same question and also on notice received the same reply as one would expect from an oligopoly. Are you able to share the Commonwealth Bank's community representation fee today or on notice?
No, Senator, we would take the same approach to that. We, as I say, have many contracts with many banks. It is commercially sensitive, and disclosing what one bank pays versus what another bank pays would create commercial risk for Australia Post.
And how so?
In that we are negotiating with 81 different companies, and if they were aware of what other companies are paying, then that would put us under a very difficult commercial situation.
Show them the high contracts, high-price contracts.
Sorry?
Show them the contracts with high representation.
It would be good if we could do that, Senator, but that's unfortunately not the way that the negotiations would work.
Oh, it would help you if you picked the top one. Are you happy with the fees you're receiving from your banking partners in Bank at Post for providing their customers with their services?
Senator, when the Bank at Post agreement was put in place some 3 years ago, I think the scope of that was for what we would call rudimentary or very basic consumer banking services, the ability to deposit some money and take out some money. It's fair to say that since that service has been put in place, and since we have seen an increase in the number of bank closures, that the pressure that's been placed on our post offices that provide Bank at Post has increased. Customers are looking for a broader scope of services. Small businesses particularly feel that they're not able to access what they would traditionally access through their banking branches, and indeed the provision of cash has become an issue. Whilst a lot of people say cash is going to die, we certainly don't see that, particularly in certain demographics and also in certain neighbourhoods where cash is still prevalent. When we were set up, we were never established both from a physical perspective or a service perspective to deal with cash. We are happy to extend the range of services we provide to customers at Bank at Post, be it small business or the provision of cash, but we would need that to be funded by the banks. A good example is Coober Pedy. It is a cash town given its the nature of its work. We are now flying cash into that town on a weekly basis because there are no banks remaining in Coober Pedy.
I'm very pleased to hear that you're supporting cash and keeping it alive. A lot of people are starting to swing back now because they know it's essential for freedom. Would Australia Post like to offer a wider range of banking services from an existing partner, such as Suncorp? If so, what services would you like to provide?
Thank you, Senator. I think, as I referred to my previous answer, we are seeing an increasing desire by regional towns, particularly when we are the only banking service remaining, to increase the range of services for small business, be that cash floats for the local hairdresser or the local coffee shop. One example recently of the footy team, I think the Country Women's Association both ran a gold coin fundraiser over a weekend, and our post office was inundated with 1,800 gold coins on the Monday, but was never equipped to handle that type of cash. So certainly small businesses, we see there's an ability for us to increase the range of services we provide and for the provision of cash for those small businesses. However, that would need an investment in some cases in physical infrastructure for safes and security, and also additional systems and training for our team, which we are prepared to do, but that would require obviously support from the banks to enable those services to be extended.
So you'd welcome something like a Suncorp, which is for sale right now, and the sale to ANZ was blocked?
We provide services to Suncorp today through Bank at Post. They are a Bank at Post customer, and 81 other financial institutions.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to commit to Suncorp or anything like that, but does the concept of having a bank with branches already, albeit not as many as you have appeal to you?
Senator, that's a question of policy, which is for the government. We're very happy to provide our over-the-counter services, which we are well equipped to do so, certainly for basic banking services. But as I said, if we were to extend the range of those services, we would need to look at those post offices on a case-by-case basis. The town in the Snowy is the other. Junee is another case in point where the last bank left. Our post office here does not have disability access. So again, that challenge comes on Australia Post, and we work with the banks to try and solve for that. But in terms of over-the-counter services and providing Bank at Post services, particularly in regional and remote areas, we see that as an essential service and continue to be invested in that service.
Thank you. Last question, Chair. Something Christine Holgate did a very fine job of doing was to address the problems, listen to and address the problems of the LPOs, the licensed post offices. And we haven't heard much from them lately, so that is probably a pretty good sign, but I'd like to know what you think of your relationship with the LPOs. How's that going? Because they're fundamental.
Yes, they are. They make up more than 2/3 of our branch network. They are partners in our network. We deal with both the key associations. I think our relationship is a very positive one. We are very transparent on what we are doing, the investments we're making. We're currently rolling out our Post Plus new point of sale system to every post office in the country, the largest single investment that Australia Post has ever made, over $250 million. This will create efficiencies for both our corporate and licensed post offices and also create a better service experience for our customers. So I think our relationship with them is healthy. We certainly listen to them. We spend a lot of time out in their post offices understanding their needs and their challenges. I do also spend a lot of time out. It's one of the best parts of my job. But we also see in certain areas where they are financially challenged because of the reduction in foot traffic, because of the digitisation of services, and as I mentioned in my opening address, certainly in metropolitan areas where there can be significant overlap, then we do see cannibalisation of licensed post offices by their fellow licensees in some of those areas. So it is a changing financial environment for many of them, and we look to continue to support them where we can. Bank at Post certainly helps the growth we're seeing in our parcel business, and also investing in new systems which helps them become more efficient and better serve their customers.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.